I'm going to actually share my desktop because this morning I was getting on this webinar site, making sure everything worked, and I found that the links that I had put in didn't work in that format. So instead I'm going to share my desktop, and we're going to use the shared desktop format. And so give me just a minute to get that going, and we'll go from there. Okay. So if you have any problems seeing the shared desktop or issues with this format, please do put in a note or comment to Jessica, and she'll let me know. So the tools to help in the journey beyond. You might be thinking, beyond what? Well, we're talking about beyond your current performance and possibly where you think you can go. We're really talking about quality tools. And I'm not here to sell tools. I'm not here to market anything. I'm simply here to inform you and hopefully inform each other, all of us be informed about some of the quality tools, techniques, and methods that can help in moving your performance and our performance to the next level. Oh, going backwards there. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, let me go to the slides. There we go. Okay, so what are we going to talk about then throughout this presentation? We'll be talking about, first of all, we'll talk about what I'm referring to as tools. Why are these important? What are we talking about as tools? And talk about some of the aspects of why the tools are important that were in the quality realm to moving us to the next level. Then we'll talk about some of the basic tools that are like the screwdrivers and hammers and wrenches that are used in the quality areas. And then we'll talk about a little bit more advanced tools, things that are like the power tools, some of the statistical tools. And we'll talk about some of the niche tools, things like the pipe wrenches, if you will, the tools that are used primarily for one purpose, can be used for other purposes too, but are primarily focused at one purpose, but are used a lot. And then we'll get into some of the cutting edge tools, the things that I would equate to more like the plasma cutters and water jet cutters and the tools that are more advanced and some of the cutting edge areas of where I've seen some of the quality tools going. And finally we'll wrap up, and throughout this I'd like you to consider sharing tools that you've seen, that you use. Now, granted, live sharing isn't as easy here, so save those to the question and answer session. And this presentation in general is meant to allow you to hopefully pick up one or more new tools, new techniques, new methods that maybe you haven't seen in the past, and allow us possibly me to pick up some as well, and all of us to grow through that, to enable us to look at what are possible tools we can use. So first of all, some true confessions. Yes, I'm a tool junkie. I'm an addict when it comes to tools. These are actually pictures from my barn where I've got lots and lots of tools. The picture on the left and the picture, the two signs pretty much speak for themselves. And those are actually up in my barn or placed in my barn in a place of reverence, if you will. And the tool, I not only have a lot of tools, I also make some tools. In fact, the picture on the bottom right is what I call my 10-mile-per-hour grinder. It's a industrial grinder I made out of treadmill parts. And I call it 10 mile per hour because it reads out miles per hour, and it goes up to 10 miles per hour. So, like I said, I'm a tool junkie. And This kind of tool, though, is not what I'm talking about in this presentation. What I'm talking about in this presentation are the quality tools, those tools that we can use to improve our processes, our performance, and our products and services. So what do we mean by tools in general? Well, Webster's defines tools in these ways that you can see on this slide. Something used in performing an operation or necessary in practice of a vocation or profession. That definitely refers to a lot of potential things. And the second one, an element of a computer program that activates and controls a particular function. And the third one's a means to an end. Well, that's really what we're talking about, are means to an end. We're talking about those things like, in this presentation, we're talking about things like control charts, run charts, things that are tools that are used in the quality engineering activities to help us to improve our performance. But having said that, then, why focus on the tools? Why are the tools important? Well, it becomes really a chicken and egg problem. When we think about the chicken and egg, which came first? The age-old question. Well, it really doesn't matter because one can't exist without the other. And when we think about tools or processes or approaches, should we focus on the process? Should we focus on the tools? Should we focus on the approach? Well, we have to focus on the process first. I think anybody who's been in the quality industry would agree with that. Using a tool, especially an automated one, without defining that underlying process is extremely risky, or without understanding that underlying process is extremely risky. I've seen, for example, as my kids were growing up, they use the calculator to do the math, but not really understand the math. And when they get to higher level math, they can't really build on those principles. So it's important to understand the underlying manual process first and be able to perform the things manually, but the automation can help. And we'll talk about some potential automation in some of these areas, but most of what we're talking about are the underlying tools, the underlying mechanisms that we can use in the quality arena. In many cases, truly, it does become a chicken and egg problem. One can't exist without the other. And we think about some of the automation and tools that exist today, some of the processes and tools, or automation and processes. It really is becoming more of a chicken and egg problem. One can't exist without the other. There's no way of using some of these tools very effectively and efficiently without some level of automation and some level of help from the automation, and there's no way of improving some of the processes without some of the tools we're talking about. So those are critical to the processes existing and the process improvement. Also, the tools can inform us about and help us form us about the process and help us to improve and change the process. We can use the tools to help us understand the process more deeply. Well, how can we do that? Well, becomes more of a chicken and egg problem again. And what I mean by that is advances in the tools and technology drive advances